Do you find yourself comparing yourself to other people? Do you find yourself really caring about other people's opinions? So keep watching because this is what we're going to talk about today. How to not give a damn about other people's opinions. The reason why we care so much about other people's opinions is it comes from childhood. As you know, everything stems from childhood. And if we don't resolve the unresolved stages from our childhood, then we're going to find ourselves just pretty much playing out things into our adulthood. And if you found yourself really seeking validation from your caretakers or living your life for your caretakers, then you're going to find yourself in that bubble of caring what other people think. And I find this really fascinating because it was something that I of course, struggled with myself. And this is something that you tend to struggle with as you are trying to define who you are, as you are trying to define your purpose. And the reason why we care so much about what other people think is because we haven't connected to our purpose. We haven't created the path that is only for us. And the reason we do that, I believe, is because there is a disconnect from the spiritual self. And this is really the reason for the state of the human condition in general, the things that we continue to struggle with, the things that we continue to loop with that get in the way of us really reaching our fullest potential is because there is a disconnect from spirit. You know, you can call that God, source, creator, whatever language you use, it doesn't matter. I believe we're sort of saying the same things in different ways based on our cultural upbringing and what has impacted our worldview. But when there's a disconnect with the spirit, we tend to look around to see what everybody else is doing, not realizing that everybody came into this physical realm with a specific life plan, life path. This is why it's, to me, inconceivable as I strengthen my spiritual path. It's inconceivable for me to compare myself with other people and what they're doing. And it's hard, especially when we've been indoctrinated to see what everybody else is doing. This whole world was created with hierarchies and divisions. And because of those hierarchies and divisions, it has us questioning ourselves. It has us questioning our purpose. It has us questioning our abilities and capabilities. And it has us thinking that we need to be like Susie next door. We need to be like somebody else. And there's a reason for that. Because the more that you try to be with everybody else, it sort of further enhances the overall agenda of keeping us separated from ourselves. What does that mean? We grow up in a society that continuously tells us, why don't you be more like X? And that could be in school, that could be at work, that could be in our households. We constantly hear that. If you were more like X, you would be more like this. But that's completely impossible because our lives are fitted only for us. And when you come from a place of spirit, you start to understand that everybody who is here has value. It doesn't matter where they are on the hierarchy. Everybody comes here with something to do. And the goal is to find out what that is. But if you're really busy comparing yourself to other people, you are distracting yourself from your purpose, from you discovering what that path is. We have to understand that other people's opinions about ourselves and our lives, or just in general, comes from their perspective. It comes from their worldview, from their own projections, from their own personal experiences growing up in their specified culture. So for us to think that we're going to be like them or that their personal opinions on what we are trying to conceive and create doesn't make any sort of sense. It's like me going into a, Muslim household and try to say, hey, be more Haitian. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I just use that as an example. So when you begin to care too much about what other people think, ask yourself, what is really going on here? What is underneath that trigger? I always say go deeper. If you're being triggered by something that you see on the outside, it's an arrow that's being pointed back to you. It just means that you have to go deeper within yourself. I can't compare oranges to pineapples. I can't compare kiwis to apples. Those are very different things. And this is a lesson that we can take from nature because nature, there's a lot of differences in nature, yet together they still work in harmony to create, expand, and support the ecosystem of nature. That is what we're here to really do because we're all interconnected. So it's like, how do we all work in harmony versus, oh, I got to be ahead of you. oh, I got to do more of this because you're doing this. There is no such thing as competition. This is a falsely created circumstances meant to divide you from yourself. It goes back to how people say the only competition is a competition within yourself. So when you find yourself really caring about other people's opinions, begin to ask yourself, what is going on here? Am I struggling with a bit of self-worth? Where is there a disruption in my self-esteem? How do I really view myself? What do I really think about who I truly am? And where does this disconnect and this self-doubt come from? Is it my voice or someone else's voice? I love encouraging people to ask themselves these self-reflective questions because it really encourages you to get quiet, away from the noise, so you can think clearly. The reason that we lack a lot of clarity in our lives is because other people's opinions and viewpoints and standard of living is clouding our judgment for ourselves, and it's disrupting where we're supposed to be on this path. It's disrupting the progression that you need to make on your own personal path. And if you want more self-reflective questions like that, you can download. I'm gonna leave a link. There's 125 self-reflective questions that you can get for free that really help you to kind of get quiet in different areas of your life, whether it's personal growth, well-being, past, present, future, all of that, so that you can really get a balanced view, kind of like a bird's eye view into your own personal life. So I really want to encourage you to stop comparing yourself to other people. I want you to stop thinking that other people's opinions are gold, because now you're putting them on some sort of pedestal that doesn't exist. Hierarchies don't really exist in the way that we've been taught that they exist. They've been exist for us to create conflict and friction with one another, because the more that we're distracted with creating conflict and friction with one another, the less that we connect to who we are in the most authentic form, and then the less that we march on our path. Because when you find your purpose and you find your path, you vibrate joy, you vibrate balance and peace. And if you take a look around you, that is not the agenda. So you have to ask yourself, what is really going on here? To take a step back, an objective perspective, to say, okay, what is really going on here that is preventing me from creating this path that is meant for me? You have to understand that source, creator, whomever did not make a mistake by sending you here. And because of the fact that that source energy did not make a mistake, it means that you have a bigger purpose here. But if you constantly get distracted with all the other noise and all the other stuff that's happening out there, then you will not find your purpose. You cannot do it like Susie next door, because Susie can only do it from the way Susie knows, from her own perspective and viewpoints. And you have to understand that we all come with a set of cultural ideas. We all come from a set of belief systems. We all come from different influences. So it's impossible for me to be like anybody else. The only person that I could be is myself. Going on here is an invitation to be more of who you are. So let's just kind of sum this up. Recognize that other people's opinions have nothing to do with you. Other people's lives have nothing to do with you. The invitation here is to no longer meddle in other people's circumstances, but focus on yourself. Focus on discovering who you are. Next, you want to just challenge your core beliefs. Ask yourself, is what I'm thinking really true? Is what this other person is saying about me really true? How do I know it's really true? How does it help me? And what would happen if I didn't believe it anymore? What if I deviated off that path and created my own understanding of myself? Focus on what's important to you. Don't let other people's opinions distract you from living a life according to your own values and goals. Stop comparing yourself to other people and start accepting yourself as an individual with unique sets of characteristics, unique sets of personalities, talents, and flaws. No one person is exactly like the other person. Even twins are different. Everyone is different. So there's no reason to try to mold yourself into someone else's image just because they seem to be popular or successful by your definition of what that is. And then the invitation here is to redefine what it means to be successful, redefine what it means to be the thing that you seek to be. So all of this is just an invitation for you to develop yourself, develop your passions. And remember that just because someone has an opinion doesn't make it right. First of all, there's no right or wrong. We sort of live in this dualistic reality that in the spirit world, when you understand and when you're connected to spirit, doesn't exist. It just only exists here. And that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe I'll have that talk later sometime. I don't know. We'll see. Your goal is not to change other people's opinions about who you are. That is not your goal. Your goal is to live from their most authentic self, and it will resonate with the people that match your vibrational frequency. The first thing to do out of all the other tasks that I gave you is to accept yourself fully for who you are, with all the imperfections. And then lastly, the more that you focus on your own goals, your own personal goals, you ain't got no time to get distracted by what other people think. So if you find yourself so consumed by the external, it means that you need to get busy. You need to get busy living your life. So begin to take a moment to create your desired life and start creating an action plan so that you can pursue your dreams and your goals and the things that you want to create and conceive. So instead of focusing on what people think and what's going on out there, just focus on you. That's all I got today for the Monday message. Thank you for watching, and definitely share this with somebody else. Subscribe to the channel so other people can find it. And, definitely in the comments, let me know what resonated with you the most. And I will see you not on the other side of change. I'm changing this. I'll see you on the other side of wholeness. Take care.